Hey, second grade, so I'm back. I hope that you did some thinking about what might happen on the island. We have some sort of ominous tones. We had a really spectacular celebration and everyone was happy, but we had that little part where Peter Brown, the author, says, "But the ship saw them and saw the towering bonfire. It saw the robot, and then it quietly continued through the darkness." So we have a little foreshadowing happening, like he's setting the tone for something big to happen. And then in the next chapter, Bright Bill sees a familiar shape in the sky, and he turns to his mother and he says, "Mom, there's an airship flying this way." And just so you guys know, Munch is continuing to misbehave while I read. So we're just going to have to deal with him and his antics for a little while. Chapter 68, The Ricos. The airship approached from the south like some giant migratory bird. The ship was sleek, white triangle with a single dark window facing forward. 3 identical robots stared out the window. The robots resembled Roz, but they were bigger and bulkier and shinier, and the word Rico was lightly etched on each of their torsos. Followed by the individual unit number, they were Rico 1, Rico 2, and Rico 3. The Ricos flew in a low circle around the island. They saw the smoking hill of ash. They saw the mysterious wooden domes. They saw 4 dead robots scattered across the shore. The airship hovered above the robot grave site for a moment. Then it floated up over the island and lowered itself into a small meadow at the foot of the mountain. The engines blasted air towards the ground, bending trees and tearing grass. And then a landing gear sank into the soil. The engines powered down, and all was quiet. So, there's a picture of the aircraft that they're on. Now, boys and girls, what's interesting about this story is that it's set in a somewhat like scientific fiction, like a science fiction future. So, Peter Brown doesn't give us a date, but we can assume that this story is set in the future, like in a time when robots and humans are working together, and some of the ways that Bright Bill described the Earth and seeing humans definitely gives us a taste of sort of a like a futuristic future where science and technology has just bloomed and robots are everywhere. The door opened and out stepped the Ricos. They took several long strides into the meadow and stopped. The shadowy figure was lurking in the forest edge. The Ricos turned and faced it. They stood flush together like a sparkling wall. And then the shadowy figure began to move. Out from the trees walked some sort of 2-legged creature. It was dusty, dirty. Butterflies flitted around, flowers sprouted from its body, and one of its feet was made of wood. And then the creature spoke. "Hello, my name is Roz." Chapter 69, The Defective Robot. "Hello, Rosum, Unit 7134. We are the Ricos. We are here to retrieve all Rosum units." The cold, flat voice came from Rico 1. He and his partners stood absolutely still and kept their eyes glowing, locked on their target. Now remember, we've gotten to know Roz really well, and she has a lot of human-like qualities, but at the end of the day, she's still a robot. So keep that in mind as I continue to read the rest of the chapters. The Rosum Rico units are there to retrieve Roz, because she's a defective robot. Even though we've gotten to know her and love her, she's still a robot. So to the Ricos, she's just a machine. "There are 4 others," said Roz, "but they are dead." "We have already located the remains of the other units," said Rico 1. "We will collect them later. Now come with us." The three Ricos motioned Roz to the airship, but she didn't move. Where have you come from? She said. The Ricos turned and stared at Roz. Do not ask questions, said Rico 1. Where will you take me? Do not ask questions. Why must I leave? Do not ask questions. I will not go anywhere until I get some answers. There was a brief silence from Rico 1. While he computed his next move, and then he began to speak. 1 year ago, a cargo ship carrying 500 Razum units was sunk by a hurricane. 495 units have been retrieved from the ocean floor. We have come here in search of the last 5. We have located them. Razum Unit 7134, you are the property of Tech Lab Industries. We will return you to the factory where the makers will refurbish you and sell you to a work site. You will then live on that work site indefinitely. Now come with us. But I live here, said Roz. That is incorrect. Razum Unit 7134, any further resistance will be proof of defectiveness and we will deactivate you. But Roz had more questions. Who are the makers? What is my purpose? And why can I not ask questions? This unit is defective, said Rico 1 to his partners. Commence deactivation. In perfect unison, the Ricos stepped towards Roz. They raised their blocky hands, ready to restrain their target, ready to shut her down and with the press of a button. But a loud squawk and a streak of feathers cut them off. Stay away from my mama! Brightbill swooped into the meadow and started hopping around, ready to defend his mother. The Ricos stopped and looked down at the goose. Of course, they didn't understand his words. They heard only meaningless squawks. And then they heard their target squawking back at him. So that's Roz. Roz is the target. Roz starts squawking back at Brightbill. Brightbill, get out of here, said Roz in a language of the animals. These robots are dangerous. What do they want? They want to take me away. The Ricos stared at their target, trying to understand why she was exchanging noises with a goose. And then new noises began raising up. Rustlings and shrieks and echoes from the forest. Animals were gathering. Wild voices called to one another. Roz needs our help. Those robots want to take her away. We have to do something. The uproar in the forest grew louder and louder, and the Ricos peered past Roz towards the mysterious noises, but they saw only foliage. Suddenly, shadows swept across the meadow, and Brightbill's flock dove onto the Ricos. The geese furiously flapped and pecked and wrapped their wings around the robot faces, clinging to the Ricos like feathery masks, distracting them, blinding them. Brightbill turned to his mother. Run! All right, boys and girls, I'm going to stop there, but I'm actually going to tape another segment this week. Since we're getting to the end, I kind of want to finish up the book. So I am going to tape another 8-minute segment so that we can get through a little bit more because we're so close to being done. All right, boys and girls, I kind of want to finish up this booklet this week, so I'm going to challenge you to listen to me read a little more than usual. I'll be right back.